So this is what we are given. 3 plus ax equals to b plus 2cx. Express x in terms of a, b, and c. Not difficult. Group all the x terms together. So by doing so, we subtract 3 on both sides. We subtract 2cx on both sides, leaving us with ax minus 2cx. That is b minus 3. So here I have combined two steps into one. Then the next thing, I see that x has appeared twice. I know that at the end of the day, I only want x equals to something. I only need to write x one time. In order to do that, I will need to factorize. Remember the star that I wrote in the previous lesson? So that was for the factorizing. Okay, so with that, we can now divide both sides by a minus 2c. And we have this now in terms of a, b, and c. Then in part 2, find the value of x. So do a substitution, simple. B has a value of 14, minus 3. A has a value of 2, minus 2 times of c, value negative 10. So that gives us 11 over, what's this? 20 plus 2, 22. Half. So in the next question, example number 16, there was a substitution which I left for you to do by yourself. Okay, so in part 2, do the substitution once you have v, so that is 2 times of u has a value of 5, f has a value of negative 2, 5 times of u value is 5 again, minus 3 times of negative 2. So do it carefully. We have negative 20 in the numerator. Denominator, that will be 25 plus 6. So giving us negative 20 over 31. Page 7 was done. 8 thing. Now page 9. Oh sorry, page 9. So this was the formula for interest, and it can be used to calculate in actual situations. Okay, all you need is the principal, the interest rate, and the duration. So I want to elaborate a little about this. Over here, this R represents the interest rate, but without a percent. That is why we needed to divide everything by 100. Okay, so now with the division by 100, R over 100, now it corresponds to our R percent. And the percent is usually stated per annum. Per annum means per year. And the T over here, the time period, usually they give it to you in terms of years also. Okay, because every year, the interest rate R percent. After 2 years, you have to pay 2 times of R percent. After 3 years, 3 times of R percent. But what if instead of going by number of years, they have 6 months? Then you know what to do with it. Okay, so later on we'll be exploring some of such questions. So in part A, to make P the subject, okay, usually, right, we also remove the multiplication sign. So PRT over 100. Okay, leaving it there is fine also. So making P the subject, what we need to do is both sides multiplied by 100 and both sides divided by R, both sides divided by T. So we actually can combine everything in one step already. 100I over RT. So the original equation on the left was used to calculate interest. So in a situation where you have a sum of money, you put it in a bank, they tell you they will give you the interest with some rate. Then you decide how many years you want to put inside, and you can calculate the interest you'll be getting. Whereas in the box on the right, part A, making P the subject. So in such a situation, it would be you trying to calculate how much you actually put inside the bank when you have already obtained an interest of whatever amount, I. The interest rate is also made known to you, and the duration that you put it in the bank is also was already decided by you. Then make R the subject. Similarly, R will be 100I over P times of T. Finally, making T the subject, T will be 100I over PR. Nothing to memorize. Okay? Whether they eventually ask you to calculate interest rate, calculate the duration, number of years, calculate principal. All these can be derived from only one formula that you need to memorize. This is the only one you need to memorize. I equals to PRT over 100. But seriously, once you know how it works, you also don't need to memorize already. Alright, once you understand the mechanisms of this interest, how interest is calculated, the longer you put, the more interest you're going to get. The larger your principal, the more interest you're going to get. The higher the interest rate, the more interest you're going to get. So that is why P times R times T. Okay, then we try some actual questions in page 10. So a sum of $3,000, this is our principal. Alright, please indicate also so that you know where it fits in the formula. That's our principal. Now this guy, instead of putting money in the bank, he borrowed from a bank. And the bank is going to charge him interest. This will be our R over 100. Because that percent over there, that percent symbol, means over 100. Then find a simple interest. Okay, simple interest, that will be our I. Then we have three different durations. 1 year, 3 years, and 10 months. The formula that we are going to be using is I equals to PRT over 100. PRT over 100. So sometimes our students are confused about this portion. R over 100, 5%, and then another R over here. What you can also do to help yourself is, from this piece of information, when they tell you interest rate is 5%, you can also tell yourself that, okay, now R itself has a value of 5. Okay? R itself, without the percentage sign, has a numerical value of 5. So when you put it into the formula, R having a value of 5, 5 over 100, that is our 5%. So don't be confused about this part. R itself has a numerical value without a percentage sign. Okay, so let's start with part A. We want to find the interest. If it is placed for 1 year. So I equals to P, principal, 3,000. R has a value of 5. T, 1 year. They're only putting it for 1 year. So 1 over 100. So he gets $150 if he places it in the bank for 1 year. And now in part B, the same formula, interest equals to the same principal. He didn't change the amount of money he put inside. The interest rate is still 5. Now he put it in for 3 years this time, over 100. And he gets $450. No surprises that this is actually 3 times of our 150. 1 year you get $150 as interest. Oh, sorry, not you get. He has to pay $150 for 1 year as interest. Or 2 years it will be $300. 3 years, it should be $450. Okay, very logical. Now, what about if he borrows it for less than 1 year? He only borrows for 10 months. Do we expect the interest payable to be less than or more than $150? Less than or more than? Has to be less than, because he borrowed for less than 1 year. The reason why I'm saying this is that in the event you write this, interest equals to 3,000, yep, that's the principal. This is the interest rate of 5, and then the duration, you put 10 over 100. In the event you do this, and then you calculate, you get 1500, then it has to dawn onto you that it's something wrong already. I cannot be borrowing for 10 months, and yet the interest is way higher than what I'm supposed to pay for 1 year. So at this point, you must recognize that something is wrong. Cannot be borrowed for 10 months, the interest rate is, the interest that you pay is higher. Doesn't make sense. So find the mistake. And the mistake lies over here. If you are writing 10 like this, what does this represent? Yeah, if you write 10, it means 10 years. But are we actually looking for 10 years? No, it's 10 months only. So how should we amend this to make it correct? So the other thing that we have discovered is that this 3 is in years. This 1 over here is in years. So this has to be in years as well. So what is 10 months in years? What is the conversion from months to years? It's like, 6 months is half a year, right? How do you know? How do you get from 6 to become half? Divide by how much? 12. Okay? Just divide by 12. So this is 10 over 12. And now we will expect the final answer to be less than 150 already. And we get 125. Okay? And now it all makes sense. Because 10 months is quite close to 1 year already. So our 125 should be quite close to $150 also. Okay, now example number 22. John, he borrowed 5,000 from a bank. Again, this is our principal. He repaid 5,100 to the bank after 4 months. This is the duration. Okay, notice I didn't write T because risky to write T by itself. You may think that T is 4, but maybe it is supposed to be in terms of years. Then it will be 4 over 12. Okay, so I put on duration. Now he repaid $5,100 to the bank. Is this the interest? Is this the interest? Then what is that? Total, huh? The total that he's repaying, right? So in other words, this will be our principal plus interest. I for interest. So now it should be quite clear how much the interest is, right? How much is the interest? $100. So interest equals to 5,000 minus 5,100 minus 5,000, and we get $100. So in our formula, our I equals to PRT over 100. Sounds like we have almost all the information except for one. We're missing the interest rate, and that's what they want us to calculate. Okay? So how do we calculate the interest rate? Do we need to memorize? R equals to, what is it? 100 I something over something. No need. I really didn't memorize it because it is way easier to just derive it. Memorize one, derive the others. Okay, what is the formula that we are told to memorize? Interest, principal, rate, duration in years over 100. This is the formula that we have to memorize. So to find the annual interest rate, that is looking for that R value. Then you attach a percentage to it. Okay? Or R over 100 is in terms of percent already. So basically, what we want to find is R value. Alternatively, you can think of it as R over 100 value because they both point us to the interest rate. Okay? So now let's make R the subject. R itself has a value of 100 I over PT. Keeping in mind that T itself should be in terms of years. Okay, because everything is in terms of years. They want the annual interest rate. So let's do the substitution. 100, the interest that we found in the previous part was 100 also. Divided by the principal of 5,000 and the duration in terms of years. So that is 4 over 12. So whatever we are going to find out over here, the R value is the numerical value for the interest rate. Then we still need to add a percentage symbol to that answer. Okay? So let's key all these into our calculator. 10,000 divided by 5,000 and we divide by 1/3. Oh, we get 6. R itself has a value of 6. Okay so far? Then what is the interest rate? Is it 6? You must put the percent. Okay, this is very important. It might confuse you when you are doing the work by yourself. It might confuse you when you are revising. But you have to do it a few times in order to understand when to put the percentage symbol and when not to put the percentage symbol. You need to know what the R over here represents. The R by itself without a percentage is not the interest rate. We need to attach the percentage symbol so that it becomes the interest rate. Okay, so now I have the value of R. I'm not done yet. I still need one more line to say interest rate equals to 6%. Any questions? Really okay? Okay, then one last one. Example number 23. Bank offers a time deposit that pays a simple interest rate of 4% per annum. Time deposit is like a fixed deposit. Okay, simple interest rate 4% per annum. So same thing. This is our R over 100. Okay, or you can look at it as R has a value of 4. Make sure you know the difference between 4 versus 4%. 4% is 4 over 100. It's a very small number. 4 is way bigger, but it's 100 times of 4%. So how much must you deposit? So this is asking us for the principal equals to how much? In order to earn $600, that is the interest, in 2 years. So this is our T value. And I confidently write T because it is in years already. Okay, so here form the equation. In fact, use the equation that you are supposed to have memorized. Interest equals to PRT over 100. We are trying to find the value of P. So P, that is 100I over RT. 100I over RT. Then do your substitution. 100 times the interest. Okay, interest is $600 over the rate. The R value is 4. The R value is 4. Okay, don't go and put 4 over 100 or 4% over here. R value itself is 4. Then T, duration of 2 years. So what do we end up with? 60,000 divided by 8. He needs to put in 7,500. Putting in $7,500 will earn him $600 in 2 years. Free money. Good deal? Really good deal? No. Samuel, why not good deal? Good deal? Not bad one, right? So Henry, you don't agree? Then what are you going to do with your 7,500? Yeah, well. Invest, yeah, there invest already, what? Invest in this time deposit. What's the catch? What's the catch over here? Is $7,000, 7,500 a lot of money? A lot of money, right? But you have to put it in the bank for 2 years, you cannot touch it. Once you take it out, unlikely they will say, okay, I'll prorate for you. 1 year you're supposed to get $300, I'll give you the $300. Usually fixed deposits, they will stipulate. You need to put the amount of money with us for 4 years, 5 years. Cannot take out. Then we'll give you this amount of interest. Usually not bad lah. Better than just leaving your money in the bank, which earns you how many percent? 1%? Is it 1%? You all don't know, right? Yeah, I know, but you all know or not? When you put your ang pao money in the bank, your savings all put in the bank, how much are you actually getting? Your mother is the bank. What? So you're getting, I think, less than 1% only per year. Less than 1%. That's very little, huh?